Oh my gosh, all these gosh damn flies. Hey y'all, so I just wanted to talk to you guys today about, I just wanted to vent and just get this off my chest just in case no one ever hears it. So I don't really know where to start, but I'll start by saying this. I've always felt like my mom favored my brother over me. My older brother, she had him when she was 17 or 18, 17 or 18. And I always felt like after my stepdad came into the picture, after my father cheated on her and went to prison, you know, she started to date or whatever, she was single, and my stepfather came into the picture. But ever since he came into the picture when I was around 8 years old or maybe 9, I always felt like she chose him over me. She always made it seem like she was too tired from work to entertain me sometimes, or just to, I don't know. But I started to feel neglected, and I started to feel like she was more of a mother to my stepfather than she was to me. Was just always so understanding of him or his situation, him not having a car, or him not having a stable job, or him not really having anything to offer. Growing up, I always felt like her attention was always centered around him. She would randomly come up to me, "Did you speak to John?" We're gonna call him John. Actually, no. We're gonna call him the third child, because that's kind of what he became. My mom would always pull me aside and say, well, we want to make the third child feel like they're a part of the family. Y'all, it's flies out here. But anytime I needed a permission slip signed for school or something, I would go to my mom and she would say, you know, you can go to the third child for it. She basically just tried to force this idea that he was my dad or a father figure on me, when I never looked at him like that, because I already had a father. Even though he was in prison, my father was around at some point in my life, and he gave me everything I wanted, and life was great when he was around. And I saw how life was when he wasn't around, and when the third child was in the picture, like, it was never as great as when my real dad was here. And I'm not just saying that because my real dad, he was a better provider. I'm saying it because my dad would come home and, I don't know, hide candy in his jacket pockets and shit. We were super close. I was a daddy's girl. We did everything together. I was in dance classes. We were gonna move into this really nice house before he went to prison. He gave me everything I wanted. He was just always there for me, taking me to the museum, or taking me to festivals, or to the circus, or to the water park. Like, I just have so many amazing memories with him. When he finally went away, I took it really hard. And my mom, she never really, I felt like she never really extended any sympathy to me, or looked at anything from my perspective as like, I just lost my father. And I felt like because he cheated on her after they were married and had built this life together, I felt like she took it, you know, really hard as well. But she looked at me like, you need to get over it, kind of thing. And when she started dating this new guy, I never liked him from the start because he just wasn't my dad. And I just was just feeling really territorial, like, who is this guy coming into my life? He up in my house with our family, with my brother, my mom. Growing up, I always started to feel like she just chose him over everybody and everything. She always took his side. I didn't like him, so I would do passive aggressive things, like I would come into the house and I would see him and I wouldn't speak. I wouldn't say excuse me when I like passed by him or something like that. And my mom would, you know, get on to me about it. But let's just say he ended up bumping into me, or he reached over across my face or something to grab something. She never said anything to him like, say excuse me to my daughter. She made me feel like I had to respect him, but he didn't have to respect me. And I remember I told my mom that one day, and she's like, well, you're a child, you don't need to be respected. You're a child, you don't deserve respect. Like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, okay, you literally just said I don't deserve respect. They're bugs, y'all. can remember her always trying to volunteer me to go places with him. You know, if he's going to the grocery store, you don't want to ride with the third child. I can remember growing up feeling super invisible. What I wanted or what I thought or what I felt didn't matter, or what he was thinking or whatever was on his mind. She would always bring it up to me like, hey, so such and such said that you didn't speak, or such and such said that he felt like you don't talk to him or you don't like him. She would literally come up to me as a child and say, such and such feels like you don't like him. And it would make me feel like, okay, like, am I supposed to like him now that you pointed this out to me? Like, I just felt like she was just really insensitive to the fact that I lost my father, and you over here making it seem like he wasn't part of my entire world, that kid world. I dealt with, you know, slipped in and out of depression, and I never felt comfortable talking to my mom about a lot of stuff. I can remember reading a lot just so I could escape my own thoughts or mind or whatever, and I would cut myself. I want to say I was in middle school, and then I did it from maybe like the 6th grade to like the 8th grade. I would cut like the palm of my hands so that it wouldn't leave any marks. It was just a stereotype that, oh, black girls don't cut themselves, black girls don't do this, black girls don't do that. That's not a black people thing. That's a, you know, I never felt comfortable talking to anybody about it, but especially my mom. Sometimes I think my brother would tell her maybe like, oh, he thinks I'm depressed or I'm crying. He would, you know, get upset that I didn't want to talk to her about it, and she would like shake me and be like, you know, what are you so sad about? What you depressed for? You got a roof over your head, you know, you got shoes, you got clothes. I do what I can for y'all. And she would get mad and take it personally if she felt like I was unhappy. And, you know, I obviously never felt comfortable after that. I started writing my dad when I was in the 6th grade. It was around the time that I really started having, like, you know, idle thoughts for the first time. Yeah. And then there's this scar on my wrist right here. It's shaped like a square. I remember doing that because I remember I was upset and I got a nail outside and I just like dug it into my skin. But long story short, I was just going through a lot, and even though a lot was happening right in front of my mom's eyes, she could never really seem to reach out to me in a way that made me want to come out to her. But my the third child was in and out of jail, stealing to provide or trying to provide. He was younger than my mom. He was about 6 years younger than my mom, and my mom was in her 30s. He was basically like just some guy doing whatever in the streets. Anytime he went to jail, my mom always made sure that I wrote him, he went to jail for you. He was stealing for you to get your school clothes. So you need to show how grateful you are. And you know, and at the time, you know, I was showing appreciation because sometimes I did like him, but sometimes I was like, nah, like I don't fuck with you. You're not my dad. Like I don't give a fuck. Especially when he was trying to tell me what to do. Like I don't give a fuck. Like no, don't talk to me. Or even if my brother and him had got into an argument or whatever the case may be, if they almost got into a fight like twice, she would always just try to be more understanding with him, but she was just never that understanding with me. And fast forward, she supported him in jail, her little jail bae. She would always send him money. She always was calling him, making time for him. His birthday came around while he was in jail. She reminded me and my brother, make sure y'all say happy birthday to such and such. Make sure y'all sign his card. Make sure y'all da-da-da-da-da-da. Tell me why my mom forgot my birthday, my 13th birthday. So the third child is in jail, and every week or every month you're reminding me, but the moment my shit came around, she forgot. And I swear to God, it was like that scene in that movie 16 Candles, which is ironic because that's one of my mom's favorite movies, and it turned into one of my favorite movies after I saw her watching it. She literally did that shit to me, like she forgot my birthday. And I was excited because I'm like, oh, this is my teenage year, you know, like I'm a teenager now, I'm 13. And you know, she like ended up calling my school or something. They wanted to speak to me at the principal's office, and she started singing happy birthday to me because she knew she forgot, and she knew I knew she forgot. And I think I hung up in her face or something. I don't know, but yeah, like I was just real upset. And it wasn't always bad like this, you know, like sometimes it was good, and I had real nice loving moments with my mom, and sometimes I had real cool moments with the third child. My older brother, when he went to college, my mom, she went out of her way to support him and made things easier for him, and he ended up dropping out, but she went out of her way for him, and he never really had to hassle her about it. But with me, I felt like she went out of her way to make things harder for me. And keep in mind, I graduated top 10% of my high school class. I was an early college dual enrollment student while I also had a part-time job. I worked my way through high school, and I'm working my way through college. I ended up getting my first apartment when I was 21 because I couldn't live with my mom and the third child anymore. It became too toxic. The third child would say things to me like, you know, you're eating a lot of food, or he would complain to my mom about it. Or my mom, she would come up to me while I was studying or doing my schoolwork. Oh, it looks like you need to eat more. You're so skinny. Or, you know, she would just come up to me and insult me, or she would just come up to me and disrupt my peace and my energy. I almost felt like she was trying to distract me on purpose so that I wouldn't get my work done or something. And it's like I almost felt like she was trying to sabotage me. And in the same time, she would tell all her friends, oh, my child in school, you know, trying to brag on me. But at the same time, I felt like she was also hating on me and trying to sabotage me too. I don't know. I started to feel like I couldn't trust her because her intentions were questionable. One time I was trying to do my schoolwork, and she was in my face like, oh, you need to eat, stop what you're doing right now, you need to eat, I feel like you're not eating enough, you look so skinny. And I was just like, I blew up on her. I was just like, leave me alone, get out of my face, you're not my mom. Like, we almost got into a fight, and I had to move out. And I didn't want to leave immediately because financially I wasn't ready. I ended up using my student refund check to get an apartment, even though I wanted to use it to get my first car. I left. And after I left, you know, we had a long distance kind of relationship, and my lease to my first apartment was up. And I was like, oh my God, I still need to find an apartment to move into, so I'm just gonna move back into my mom and third child's house until I can find another apartment or whatever. And before, when I asked my mom, can I come back and stay with y'all until I get an apartment, she's like, okay. And then she says, what date are you gonna be leaving? Like, when are you gonna be leaving? How long are you gonna be here? And they wanted an exact date. I didn't have an exact date, but I knew I wasn't welcome either, so I just told them August 18th. And my lease to my apartment was up July 31st. And the impression I was gonna be there for a little more than 2 weeks. During that time, it was super awkward. But, you know, I stayed to myself the entire time like I did the first time I lived with them. I always washed dishes, vacuumed, cleaned around everyone else, cleaned up after everyone else like I usually do, because I never wanted them to have an excuse to say anything to me. August 18th finally came, and I knew that they wanted me out. So I was feeling really panicky, really upset because I didn't have anywhere to go, and I felt like I couldn't come to them because they just weren't there for me, you know, like I felt like they just weren't people that I could come to if I needed help. So you know, I didn't really feel comfortable telling my mom like I don't have nowhere to go. I felt like if I stayed, I would have been miserable. So I just felt like, dang, if I stay, I'm gonna be miserable, and if I leave, I'm not gonna have anywhere to go. I'm gonna be miserable. Like, so I was just feeling super frustrated, and I decided to leave and just move in with my friend, and I did that really on the spot. So as I'm packing my things and as I'm moving them to my friend's car, she had her guy friend come and help me move. And as I'm moving it to the car, my mom is like, hey, where are you going? And I'm just ignoring her. I'm not saying anything. And then my stepdad is like, hey, come here, what's going on? I look him dead in the eyes, pick up my stuff, and walk out. I didn't have anything to say to anybody. One time I came to visit them, this is when I still had my first apartment. But one time I came to visit them, and I stayed for about maybe 1 or 2 weeks. But during the time, I ended up leaving early because the third child wanted to know when I was leaving. And that's just from me visiting from the time that I had my first apartment. After I moved in with my friend, so the next day I woke up to a message, and I'm gonna leave the message in the video, but the message is from the third child, and I felt like just super hurt that my mom would allow him to send me that nasty ass message as her daughter and tell me that I'm not welcome in the home that she live in because I hurt his feelings. And I felt like that's something that he always wanted to say to me, but he was just waiting for the perfect time or excuse, because what I said or didn't say, I didn't say anything to him at all, and that's why he was upset, because I didn't come to him when he called. And he said that that was the utmost disrespect. I just feel like, dang, like, I'm your child and you never set any boundaries for him to abide by when it comes to me. You know, like, I don't care how upset you are, don't send something like that to my child. Just, where is the taking up for me at? She was always tiptoeing around his feelings, but just trying to, just nobody gave a fuck about mine. And my brother, he's favored. He's always taking my mom's side on everything because he's favored. He's always like, oh, what if mom dies today? You're not gonna care about any of that stuff. He's like, that's the only mom we got. Okay, y'all only get one of me. I mean, I understand that's important, but that's not gonna excuse everything just because you feel like, oh, we all gonna die one day. Like, no, because she only has one son and one daughter. It's only one of each of us. Like, that don't mean nothing. I don't know. So yeah, and then I just feel alone in the world. Like, I feel like I'm a little speck on a flower in a really big world. And sometimes I'll really be thinking and talking or asking God, like, wow, like, why did you put me here? Like, did you really think I'd like it here? like if I had a choice to be born, I would say, you know, like, thank you, but no thank you. And I don't even know if I want kids, because I don't even look at life like it's a great thing. Like, I don't know, like, just earth in general, like, just being here on earth, sometimes it's just, I don't know, it's just so scary and random and frustrating and dark sometimes. And I don't know if I would really want to, you know, do that to my kids, you know, or give them life, because sometimes I'm not always appreciative of life. And I know that's really bad to say, but it is what it is. And I'm just trying to learn how to love myself, accept myself, speak up for myself, express my feelings, you know, not gaslight myself, not invalidate myself. I'm trying to learn how to be an effective communicator, and I want to live, but sometimes I do want to die. But I do want to live for the most part. I don't want to die poor. Like, I don't want to die and all my dreams and goals die with me. So I'm gonna go ahead and go, y'all. It's getting late. I'm getting scared because it's dark out here and there are bugs and strange people. Like, even though I don't feel anything, I don't know. I'm feeling everything. And everything feels like it's just pulling me down into this hole of nothingness. I don't know. I'm falling into a hole of nothingness.